Hello everyone. So now that we've given you some background on the feature to point tool and the near tool, I'll be walking you through a little demonstration on how to use them. And so what we'll be working with today are monarch butterfly overwintering sites and waterways within SLO County. We did start by using the overwintering site locations and waterways across California, but since that's a pretty large data set, we decided to use the intersect tool, which we learned from the previous group's presentation, to clip that information down to a more manageable size for the demonstration. So if you reference the lesson plan folder found in Dr. Chu's shared files, the previous presenter should have given you the exact location. We'll be using the last 3 shape files within that folder. We'll be using overwintering sites SLO, the SLO County outline, and waterways SLO. So I recommend that you pull these in the following order. Go ahead and pull in overwintering sites first. So this layer will contain polygons, essentially the boundaries at locations where individuals have spotted overwintering sites and have literally walked those boundaries and plotted the points. So as you can see, they're quite small. Next, you should drag in the waterways SLO. And these are just lines showing the major rivers and creeks within SLO County. And then last, we'll drag in the SLO County's boundaries. Great, so now I'll right click on SLO County and I'll zoom to layer. So this gives us some perspective on the area that we're working with. And again, as you can see, the overwintering sites are kind of lost because they're just so small compared to the county. And so what we're looking to do here is evaluate the nearest distance to a waterway for each of the overwintering sites. And so to do this, we could run the NearTool referencing the polygons for the overwintering sites, but as a group, we've discussed it and decided that it would be more representative of the overwintering site to first convert it to a point. So the exact midpoint within the polygon, and use that as our reference. And so that's where the feature to point tool comes in. So we'll go to our overwintering sites SLO as our starting point. And actually we're gonna open up our search bar and search for feature to point. And it's the first one that shows up here, data management. There it is. And so our input feature, or our greatest subject of interest, would be the overwintering sites. So we'll select that. Make sure that it's saving to a location that you can reference in case this becomes a valuable tool and you can reference it for a later exercise. We're going to select this checkbox here, the inside option, which just ensures that the point will be within the boundaries of the polygon. At times you can have multiple polygons that are near each other, and so a point referencing the central point with near these polygons could fall outside of the polygon. So we just want to make sure that we're within each of the polygons that we're working with. So we select the inside and say okay. And it's running the tool. Shouldn't take too long because we're working with a smaller data set. And here they are. We've got our points now replacing those polygons as a reference for us. So I'll go ahead and remove the first attempt. Alrighty, so now that we've got the points, the central points within each polygon that we'd like to work with, I'll go ahead and turn off the previous overwintering sites polygons. And we're now going to search for the near. I'll just just type Near, and it's the Near Analysis tool. Our input feature is going to be the points layer that we just converted from polygons. And our near feature is going to be the waterway slope. So we're aiming to identify the nearest distance to a waterway using a point to line feature within the near tool. And so we're doing this in meters. I'm not making any other selections or changes. I say okay, and we'll give it maybe 30 seconds or so to run the tool. Alrighty, so we can see here that it's done running and it was successful. So what this tool does for us is it adds 2 columns to the input features attribute table. So I'll now right click on that, on the points layer for the overwintering sites, open the attribute table, and I can see here that we've got 11 points that we're working with. So for this first point, I'll scroll all the way to the right and note that I now have the near FID for the nearest waterway, which is FID 516. And the distance to that waterway is approximately 12,866 meters away from our overwintering site. And so now that we've got the distance to the nearest waterway for each of these overwintering sites, we can do some evaluation or run some stats on these measurements and determine the average distance to a waterway, for example, for overwintering sites within SLO County, and do the same across California. And so just to add on a little bit more context, really what we aim to do is identify whether there's a common feature, right, between overwintering site selection based on waterways, on roadways, on population, for example. So really at this point in our project, we're not so sure what we'll find, but this is one of the tools that should help us determine what that list of common attributes will be for all of our overwintering sites. So we hope you enjoyed this demonstration and that it's helpful to you in any future exercise. Thanks for watching.